Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hi!
Hi! Welcome to the Port Charles 411. Today's Port Charles 411 is
so exciting.
A couple months ago, I went to a book signing.
Without me.
You had something going on.
I did, but I was still bummed I couldn't go.
But it's not like I wanted to go without you. I was like, seriously, if you get here by now. And the unfortunate part is that it was a home Steeler game. It was a gorgeous day.
Because Pittsburgh people are crazy and don't go anywhere on Steeler Day. That is seriously the best day to shop. Absolutely. Or do any of your errands or whatever, because people just stay in for hours at a time.
Or if one of your favorite actors is doing a book signing at a local bookstore, you get it all to yourself.
How many people are going to kick themselves when they hear this and go, wait, Shannon got one-on-one time because I was at home watching a Steeler game.
I got a half hour of Sean Kanan.
Did they at least win that day? Do you know?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yes, so a half hour with Sean.
And we arranged for the two of us to get together and do a Zoom chat with him, same way that we did with Bradford a couple of months ago. And we just had some one-on-one time with him, asking him some questions.
He was so nice.
He was very nice.
Super sweet. He listened to everything because, you know, we can kind of get off track sometimes.
Just a bit.
And he listened to our nonsense and was totally with us. It wasn't like, oh, I'm rushing through this. I said I'd give you 5 minutes, promote my stuff. Okay, bye, see ya. He sat there and it was like chatting with a friend. It was awesome.
It really was. And he was actually at his friend's house in California. So if you hear some background noise, I mean, he was living his life.
Yeah. He even got to say hi to his friend.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, he generously took some time out of spending the weekend at his friend's house to talk to us, which is crazy.
It is crazy.
So we hope that you enjoy our little chat with Sean. You're like us. We use books and stuff, so.
I'm at a friend's house, so I'm just looking around. Is that good?
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Super jealous of you wearing short sleeves. It's snowing in Pittsburgh, so.
Oh, what is it? It's November. It's beautiful here. I mean, actually, it's San Diego right now.
Okay.
I just talked to my dad, who's in Newcastle. He said it was snowing.
Yeah, we got, what was it, 20-something degrees today, so.
Oh, come on.
We went from like 70 a week and a half ago to bitter. So
wow.
So are you still touring around doing the book tour and everything?
I am not right now. I'm in post-production on a new project I have, and it requires me to be here, so I can't. I have a really exciting project that's going to be dropping probably the first week in December called Studio City.
Okay.
Which is a project that I created, and it actually stars Tristan Rogers and Carolyn Hennessy and Patrika Darbo. I play the lead, a couple other great actors, and it's really, really exciting, and we're just about done with the edit, and going to be coming out on Amazon in early December. So
awesome.
Yeah, super excited about it.
So it'll be on Amazon Prime?
It'll be on Amazon Prime, yes. Success FactorX was just voted one of the 10 best self-help books of the last 2 decades.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's exciting. So there's some cool stuff happening. Let's see.
What was the inspiration behind, getting started with, I know that you and Jill had talked on your birthday and, by the end of the conversation, you were writing a book.
Yeah. I think I was in a place in my life, right? I definitely needed something to kind of remotivate me. I was looking for something. And, I think in certain areas of my life, I had started to get a little bit lackadaisical. And, you can't really write a book about success and not walk it like you talk it. And so, as I wrote this book, there were a lot of really interesting transformations that happened in my life. One of them is I lost 30 pounds. And I'm not saying it's because of the book, but I think, writing the book, working on it and promoting it put me in a very different mindset than I had been in before. And so the book came along at a very fortuitous point in my life and helped me. And the fact that it's helping other people is just fantastic too. So
yeah,
How did you choose the people for the book? Did you do half and Jill do half, or did you both need to agree?
I wouldn't say it was half and half. We agreed on everybody. A lot of the people we knew, either I knew, she knew, or we both knew. Some of the people were more aspirational, and we reached out. We really didn't have any no's other than people who couldn't conform to kind of the production schedule of the book, because you had to write a submission, you had to give us a photo and some other stuff. And a lot of these people are, traveling, working a lot. They just were like, we'd love to do it, can't do it right now.
Sure.
But we think we got a really interesting cross section of people, from varied pursuits, from athletic to business to arts to inspirational. And, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah. And there was a nice spread of, ages and genders too. So that was really nice to see.
Right.
Yeah.
What story was most surprising to you? Like, were there some people that you didn't know until you started doing the book, didn't know their backstory until you started doing the book?
Yeah, there's some people I didn't know the backstory, but the ones that for me really resonated were like my friend Steve Burt. I've known Steve for decades, and hearing the story about his grandfather, who was an Autolux salesman. Autolux, is that right? Going door and teaching him things at a young age was really interesting to hear that. My friend Jay Dobbins, who was an ex-undercover alcohol, tobacco, and firearms agent who brought down a chapter of the Hells Angels. I mean, it's just, this guy's an American hero to me. And so I think I learned a little something about all of the people in the book. And that's the great thing about the book. You can open it to any page. You don't have to read it sequentially, chronologically. And it's the kind of thing you can go back to again and again. So, I think I learned as much as I hopefully gave from the book.
Okay.
So do you think there's going to be maybe like a second and other editions, or what we have been talking about was, you could really make that into a podcast.
It's funny you say that. We've already done half a dozen podcasts with it.
Okay.
Jill and I live on opposite coasts, and just we're both so busy that we're trying to figure out how to do it. We're trying to wait and see what happens with the next printing of the book. And that's going to kind of determine what we do with the podcast. But it's really interesting and fun to sit down and talk to some of the people in the book and really get an expanded perspective of their stories, because some of them are just, all of them are fascinating, I think. Mm-hmm. And you can only include so much in the book, but when you get them talking in their, not that the book isn't their own words, but you get them talking in their own words for, half an hour, 40 minutes, really interesting stuff comes out.
And I think that was one of my favorite parts of it, was that, each person only had either a page or a page back, front and back. So it was a quick read too. Like, it was a nice, easy to digest. I think it would make a great graduation present for either high school or college.
Absolutely. I think so too. It's a great Christmas gift. They're still available on Amazon, although we are getting down to it. We're almost sold out of our first printing.
That's wonderful.
Kind of a high-end problem, and now we're figuring out how we do the second printing. And when that happens, then we're hopefully going to be launching the podcast. But so many cool things have happened. Like last week or the week before, Success Magazine featured Bobbi Brown, the cosmetics mogul, and they took her page from the book and put it in Success Magazine. So exciting. Like I said, it was just rated one of the 10 best self-help books in the last 20 years. From the World News Network. So it's just a lot of exciting stuff going on.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. So we both flipped through The Modern Gentleman.
Oh, cool. Hope you liked it.
Yeah. I know you said that you were thinking about possibly tweaking it or revamping it. This is also something
I'm thinking about re-releasing it. I had a boutique publisher, and he's passed away, and he just wasn't really able to get it the amount of exposure that I would have liked it to have. And so I'm in discussions with re-releasing it on a bigger level, because I think it's a really fun book. I think there's some great insight in it, and I think a lot of people would enjoy it. So that's available on Amazon too. You can get The Modern Gentleman on Amazon as well.
Yep. That's exactly where I got it.
That's a great one for grads.
Yep. Well, because then I was thinking, I mean, because I know that you have a million things going on, but I'm like, that would be a great YouTube channel, especially speaking to not just men, but, also women. But especially teens and college years, because that is such formable times that it's like, don't be a ding dong. Here's how to not be a ding dong. It's like you're retitling it. I am. That's the new title. I will write your forward. But yeah, I mean, I really liked it. I thought,
It was awesome. I wanted to give it, I have a 21-year-old. I wanted to read this, memorize it, learn some stuff.
I mean, I know the title is The Modern Gentleman, but it really is a book for women just as much as men. I wanted the book to help guys be better guys, but I also wanted it to give women some insight into how guys think, but not just how guys think. And, this is in no way trying to play the victim card, but it's difficult for guys now. We're living in the Me Too era.
Absolutely.
And, guys like me, we were raised predominantly by our mothers because dad was off working, right? And, I was taught that you stand when a woman comes in the room, you pull out a chair, you open a door, and a lot of guys are getting out in the world, and that's being met sometimes with derision, almost as if it's offensive, and it's causing confusion. It's causing cognitive dissonance for these young guys going, wait a minute, the most important female figure in my life, my mom, taught me this is what you do, and now it's like, what do I do? And, I talk about in the book that sort of in the 50s, in the sort of Ronald Reagan, John Wayne era, men knew how to be men, and they were sort of the fixers, the alpha dogs, that sort of thing. And then as the women's movement came into play, which of course was phenomenally important, I think men got in touch more with their feminine side, with emotions, with being, I don't want to say more compassionate, but being better listeners, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And I think somewhere along the line, my generation, which was sort of in between, got caught with, well, which is it? Am I the alpha dog who's the protector, or am I the shoulder to, the listener, the shababa? And the reality is it's both. It's the best of both, which makes, I think, the most well-rounded man. And I think it's also understanding that, men and women are different. Yes, equality is important, but you can have equality and still have diversity of who we are as genders. Mm-hmm. And so in the book, I kind of wanted to teach guys how to be the best guys that they can be without being doormats. There's a chapter called The Modern Gentleman's a Nice Guy, but not a nice guy.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? And,
yep.
I think I would want a guy taking my daughter out to read this book. I teach in the book that, every woman is somebody's daughter, somebody's mother, somebody's sister, to be treated with respect. Hopefully what I wrote will resonate. Hopefully it'll reach some younger guys and help them become better men. Mm-hmm. And it'll reach some women and give them a little insight into, some of the struggles that guys have. I wrote this book right before the Me Too thing. Yeah. So I almost wish I had a chance to write it during that. But if I do say so myself, there is a certain amount of precognition to the book, because it almost talks a little about that in a
I was going to mention that. I'm like, you were very clear in one spot where you're like, and this does not mean this leads to, things. Like, you do it because it's right. The nice thing to do. It's not because you want to just get in your pants.
Talk about, even one of the things I talk about is there's a little chapter about sexting. It's written totally appropriately for anyone who is, I would say, listen, kids today are doing this in 6th and 7th grade, if not earlier.
Yeah, we both have high schoolers.
I don't condone it, but, we have to, at a certain point, accept the reality that because of the internet, because of cell phones, et cetera, and Snapchat, kids are much more evolved and have much more access to adult-themed stuff than I think we did when we were kids.
Hands down, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, it was hidden in drawers. Now it's
type it in. Yep.
You type it in, you hide it behind another app. They know right. So much more than we do about technology sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Scary.
There Don't you hate when you're listening to a great podcast and suddenly you're interrupted by an ad?
I know. Thank goodness Stitcher lets us listen to our favorite podcasts like Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, My Favorite Murder, and many more ad-free for only $4.99 a month or $34.99 a year.
Go to Stitcher.com/premium to sign up today.
Use promo code PEER54 for 1 month free on us.
Do you have an idea for a podcast but don't know where to start? Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Anchor is such an easy way to record and edit a podcast, and you can do it from either your phone or computer. Best part is you don't have to worry about getting it out there. Anchor distributes to many platforms, so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and many more. You can start making money right away without having a minimum number of listeners, too. Anchor really is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place.
So you talk a lot about, not knowing where you were going to end up and just kind of learning from your different experiences. What was your failure that now you can look at and be grateful for, but at the time, obviously, you were devastated by?
Well, listen, I mean, it's no secret. I've had past struggles with, alcohol, and, it's not something I really deal with so much anymore, but in my younger days, and I was let go from General Hospital. It was crushing. It was utterly crushing. It was crushing because I did it to myself. It was crushing because I was in a very dark place at the time and really needed some help and kind of didn't know where to get it. And I was largely able to pull myself out of that hole. But had that not happened, I wouldn't have wound up on Bold and the Beautiful, which was one of the best work experiences I've ever had. I was divorced. That was crushing at the time, but had that not happened, I never would have found my wife, Michelle, now, who is, the partner that I, dreamed of. So, there's this story that I talk about, and I think a lot of people have heard it. And I'm putting it in my new book, which is called Freeing David. And it tells the story of the Chinese farmer. Do you guys know the story? So,
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the long and the short of it is, it's we shall see. You never know what ostensibly looks to be something catastrophic in your life. You really don't know how it's going to shake out. It may actually wind up being, a tremendous blessing in your life that you can't see at the moment. And it's a real hard one to digest, because when something bad happens, it's hard to look beyond, the horizon.
Yep.
But I've gotten better at doing that as I've gotten older. And generally speaking, in my experience, most things are never as bad as you think they are in the moment. And most things are never as good as you think they are either. And everything is in flux and passes, both good and bad. That change is the only constant in the universe, for better or for worse. So that's my little bit of knowledge I'll drop.
No, that was good. So we're not going to talk a lot about GH, but is there any type of a storyline that I'm sure that you probably didn't want to die. We weren't exactly thrilled about that either. But, is there any storyline that we just did this with our followers? What storyline rewrite would you have? And a lot of them mentioned you, actually. Like a lot of them said.
Well, I have very mixed feelings about GH. I mean, I have some very wonderful memories of it. I've got some not so wonderful memories of it. I was very, very honored and touched that I was able to go back after 15 years. That's a door that I thought was forever closed and a bridge that was burned. And, I just, am really grateful to Frank Valentini for bringing me back for the 50th anniversary. I think AJ, for one reason or another, has never really gotten a fair shake, both as a character and subsequently to the actors who've played him. I would have liked to have seen how it would have played out if AJ wasn't being used more as a device, as kind of a foil and as a black sheep, allowed to have a legitimate and organic reality on the show, to have a real relationship, to, I think that would have been interesting. I really would have loved to have reunited Steve Burton. Steve and I had some great moments, I think, back in the day on the show.
Yeah, because he was gone when you came back.
Yeah, he was. So as far as rewrites, there was a storyline that I had that I wouldn't have been in my top 10 list, but I was really thankful that I got the chance to go back. It was wonderful to go back and, work again with all these actors. I was there before Maurice was, and it was great to go back and have a storyline with Maurice. I love the guy. I think he's a terrific actor and a terrific guy. And even though he shot me, and get to go back and work with my mom, Monica, and it was very special. I wish it had lasted longer, but it was what it was. And acting's a very mercenary profession. You go, you work on something, and generally speaking, with few exceptions, if you're not like a series regular on a show that's been fortunate enough to last years and years, you work for a while and you move on. And that's the nature of the business.
Yeah.
So, and listen, I've been very, very busy since then. I've been very fortunate and blessed that I've been able to do lots and lots of other things. I've got lots of stuff coming out. I have a film coming out December 6th with Steven Seagal and DMX called Beyond the Law. So lots of good stuff.
Awesome. No, we'll definitely have to check that out. So you mentioned that you do a lot of stuff. We've also read that you do a lot of charity work.
I do. I try to. Yeah. My motto is I kind of try to never say no to anything. You know what I mean? I have a few charities that I work with more than others. There's a charity called Buddha Bullying, which is an anti-bullying charity, and I'm the young man's youth ambassador for that. And we go into schools and facilitate a dialogue with high school kids and even younger. And what we found out is that there is a triangle. It's the kids getting bullied, it's the kids bullying, and it's the kids who are being affected by witnessing it. And we try and facilitate a dialogue from all sides of this triangle. And it's amazing, you get these kids talking, and you say, how many kids have been bullied? And everyone raises their hand. You say, how many kids have bullied someone? And it's amazing that kids, it's almost like they want to say, I did it. I did, and I'm sorry. And, it's such a pandemic problem now with the internet, because, when I was a kid, if you got bullied, and I got bullied a lot when I was a kid. That's one of the reasons I have an affinity for this, is that through the internet, you can terrorize somebody's life with one keystroke. When I was a kid, you got bullied, during school, after school, whatever. But now it's like 24/7, and it's electronic. And, I think teen suicide is like the fourth leading cause of death among young kids. And some kids, they're getting bullied and they feel there's no other way out. And it is tragic and crushing and unnecessary. And, the one thing that we talk about is, if you're an adult, if you're a teacher or a parent, your kid comes to you, that may be the only time that they summon up the courage and choose to come to you and try and say, hey, I'm having a problem. And if it is not met and received in the way that it needs to be, bad things happen sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm very passionate about anti-bullying. I'm really passionate about animals. My wife and I spend a lot of our time in Palm Springs. We have a home down there, and we work with the Palm Springs Animal Shelter, fostering animals. We're also on the board of the Palm Desert Cancer Society. So we try and stay really involved. I think it's important to get involved and give back. I believe that service is a really important pillar in kind of having a good and healthy life. So yeah, and I like it. It feels, it's true. It really does. It feels better to give than to get, I think.
Amanda's a Girl Scout leader. That's actually how we met.
Yeah.
Our daughters were in Girl Scouts together, and I'm on the board for my daughter's school, do a lot of volunteer work. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
We share that value too. So I think the last question that I have is, so you were a screenwriter for Chasing Holden.
I wrote it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was
Thank
the inspiration other than Catcher in the Rye, which is one of my favorite books?
So for those people who don't know what it's about, Chasing Holden is about a young kid who's the son of the governor of New York, and he's being released from a mental institution and rematriculating back into school. And he is learning about Catcher in the Rye. I play an English teacher teaching him about it. And I posed the question to the kids in the class, what happened to Holden at the end of the book? And the protagonist of Chasing Holden takes it upon himself to run away with a young girl to go find J.D. Salinger and ask him the question. And in running away, he also steals a gun. So there's a whole darker sub-story where we don't know if he's actually going to assassinate J.D. Salinger.
Right.
The genesis of it was a journal that I was keeping when I was in boarding school myself. And I started keeping this journal, and years later I found it and read through it. And that was kind of the impetus for me to write the film. It was a little unfortunate and bittersweet because I think the original script was really an A. And I think the final execution was like a B. And it was because I was a young writer, a young producer. I relinquished a lot of control that I wouldn't relinquish today. Mm-hmm. And had I to do it over again, I would direct it. And I think it would have been a different story, but I still think it has a lot of value and there's a lot of beauty to it. Mm-hmm. And so I would encourage anybody who is able to find it on the internet to watch it. It's terrific. It stars DJ Qualls and Rachel Blanchard and myself.
Hi, friend.
This is Peter. I'm doing an interview. Say hi, Peter.
Hi, Peter. Hi. How's it going?
I'm a guest at Peter's place right now.
Thanks for letting us borrow him for a few minutes. We're almost done.
Welcome.
He's like, keep him as long as you want. So I gotta plug my new project, and you guys are the first venue to which I have discussed it. So when is this interview gonna run?
Probably gonna do it. Well, when's your new project going? And we can always.
We're probably gonna drop it like the first week of December.
Perfect, because we were thinking about doing the 5th, because that's the Thursday after Thanksgiving.
Cool. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's called Studio City. Mm-hmm. The title's changed, but it's a story I've been working on for well over a decade, and it's about an aging soap star who has spent the majority of his life in kind of C+ level fame, and he has a lot of the trappings of being successful, but he really wants more. He wants. He thinks he wants more in the form of a film career, but more comes along in the form of a daughter that he never knew he had. And so now suddenly this guy who was this sort of single bachelor guy on TV now has to deal with a 16-year-old daughter. And it's a drama, but there's a lot of funny stuff in it. It stars myself, Tristan Rogers, Carolyn Hennessy, Patrika Darbo, Sarah Brown came out of retirement to do this.
Wow.
So
she's retired?
Yeah, she basically
she's
retired.
Too young to be retired.
Yeah, well, she retired, and I had to beg her to do it. And I begged Sarah to do it, and she said yes. And she's terrific in it. She plays my sister, and we of course were AJ and Carly together. Yeah. God, there's some other terrific actors in it. And it's a drama, but it's got some definite humor in it. What we've done is we've decided to release it as a web series. So far. So we're going to release 6 10-minute episodes. It's called Studio City. It's going to be on Amazon Prime. And I just hope everyone's going to watch it because I think it's really terrific. I'm super proud of it. My producing partner and the director is a guy named Tim Woodward Jr. And Tim is an unbelievable director. He's probably done 15 films in the last 2.5 years. He directed the Steven Seagal film that I'm in right now. He's just a force to be reckoned with. And, this thing looks terrific. I mean, I'm not knocking any other web series out there, but I mean, this looks like a feature film. Awesome. It's gorgeous to look at. The acting's great, really emotional. And I hope everyone will give it a chance and let us know what they think.
Absolutely. Yeah, we will. Well, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Well, I'm glad we finally got a chance to do this.
It happens.
Tracking me down and everything, but it was a pleasure to both of you, and I hope we get a chance to do this again at some point, okay?
That'd be great. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, guys.
All right,
take care.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so there it was. It was awesome. Talking to him was awesome.
What was your favorite part?
Obviously the GH stuff, just because
that's how we know him.
Exactly.
And that's what this podcast is about.
But I really just liked how open and honest he was about everything. And even when he was talking about all of his new adventures that he's in, it wasn't just like self-promoting, talking just to talk. You could hear that he believed in every project that he was doing and that his heart was really in it.
Yes, absolutely. And, just all the different things that he has done over the years.
And I just think it's great that he does so many independent type things.
Yes. He doesn't try to typecast himself, even though unfortunately he has been.
Right.
No,
he's willing to play any variety of character.
But not just that, like he's been an author, you know, he has those books. And this week he has that series coming out on Amazon Prime that he said it's called Studio City, but it might have a different name. So maybe just look up Sean Kanan.
Right, because we're recording it before the release date would have been.
And we did try to Google it and weren't able to find anything. So by the time this is released, it'll probably be on there.
Right.
And you can just go to the search by actor. Amazon should sponsor us.
They should.
My husband will be so happy. Have you seen the meme that says, "Here comes Amazon, here comes Amazon,
no,
right down my driveway"?
It's very appropriate because I think that's what everyone did. Everyone that I know did for Black Friday shopping, who just Amazoned it all day long.
It's helped so much. But anyway, I don't know. It was great to be able to just talk to another one of our...
I love how down to earth him and Bradford were.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I was a little starstruck, to be honest, when the conversation started. And he was just, having a conversation with a friend.
Well, and I think part of it too is that when we both started watching GH like over 20 something years ago, and we were hormonal teenagers at the time. So we kind of had the little,
what are you
were in my teen beat thing going on, you know? And now to be adults and he's talking about how old he is and we're like, no, we're not this old. Come on.
But I know when he was talking about the Gentleman book and we're like, oh, we have sons. They can totally read that, blah, blah, blah. I felt really old.
Right. Absolutely. Because we were younger than our kids went. I'm going to go there.
Okay.
All right.
That's enough.
So it was great to talk to him.
It was.
And we're going to try to find someone else to talk to next.
Yes.
So,
I can't wait. We'll see.
Yeah.
That was 2 in
less than 6 months.
Wow. All right. That's it.
Yep.
All right. Have a good weekend.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to peer54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Peer 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at peer54podcast@gmail.com.